Head to the dollar store aisle with all of the baskets and grab one of those square, clear caddies, the kind that has 2 clips on the bottom. Fill it with items that you use often and that you want to see clearly when you open the door. When you're in the dollar store aisle, full of all those plastic bins, grab a cleaning supply bin that has different compartments and a handle. Fill the basket with baking items that you use frequently and arrange them in the caddy. Things like vanilla extract, baking powder, cooking spray, measuring spoons. Now you have an organized caddy of baking items that you can grab easily in one fell swoop from a kitchen cupboard. Pick up a set of 2 narrow plastic caddies at the dollar store. Clear some space in a kitchen drawer that is close to your coffee maker or teapot. Fill the caddies with individual coffee pods, tea bags, powdered water flavorings, some spoons, and even some paper napkins. The next time you are enjoying coffee or tea with friends, pull the already organized beverage caddies from your drawers and have everything available for your guests. Grab some wide baskets that are just a few inches tall at the dollar store. Open up those cupboard doors in your kitchen and take a good look at all those food cans and boxes that always seem to be disorganized. Fill one of your baskets with all of your canned goods. Group like items together and place them in the basket with the labels facing the same direction. Fill the second basket with all of your box mixes. Place the taller boxes on one side with the shorter ones in front of them. Place your baskets of cans and boxes in your cupboard or pantry drawer and always be able to find what you need on the spot. I hope this inspired you to organize your kitchen with inexpensive bins from the dollar store. I came across this labeling hack. I just had to share it. Type out names for labels that will keep you organized. Print out your label list on plain, ordinary white paper. Cut the words apart, leaving a little bit of white space surrounding the text. Now, take some clear packing tape and lay pieces of tape over each word. It helps if you put a coin on the end of the tape so you can lift it easily later on. With the edge of a debit or credit card, press against the taped word and rub vigorously across the top of the tape. Trim off any excess tape with scissors, then simply drop it in a bowl of water. Make sure it is completely submerged and let it soak for a couple of minutes. Once it has soaked for a bit, lift it from the water and start to rub across the back of the word with your fingers. The paper pulp will eventually come off from the tape, but the text will still be there. No more searching for tea bags or coffee pods at our house with clearly labeled storage.
You want to make sure that you have a nice clean surface. Rubbing alcohol is a good option. You'll need some sort of stencil and line that up and then just press down firmly. And it's really important here that you maintain the best seal possible. You'll want to take some painter's tape and put it around the surrounding edges. Now that you have your stencil in place, it's time to apply the etching cream. I typically do about a 5-minute time to allow it to sit, and then we'll rinse it off. Run it under a stream of warm water and just allow the cream to gently rinse off. Once you have the etching cream all rinsed off, you can go ahead and remove the stencil and the tape. But we're going to take it one step further, and I'm going to be using this Rub and Buff product to add some color to it. Once you're done, fill them up with your favorite contents and display. The options are absolutely endless.
I just went ahead and emptied out these containers, and then I went online and printed out what I wanted each one to say. So I'm going to be taking this piece right here, taping it to wherever I want this. You're gonna use whatever paint pen that you have on hand. All you're gonna do is just take your paint pen and then trace exactly what the word says. But all you have to do is just remove that. And then of course my double-sided tape stuck on there, and you can see the word just transferred really nicely there. This method gives it a really clean look. As you can see, the letters are pretty much exactly what I printed out, and it transferred perfectly onto the containers.
So the first step of this process is going to be emptying out our messy spice drawer. So now that we have our drawer dimensions, we're gonna go ahead and take a piece of just Dollar Tree foam core, and I'm only going to do 3 tiers. I'm just gonna do 1.5, and we're gonna get 3 of those as well. All right, so now we are going to cut these out. Now the final step is going to be taking 2 of these pieces. We're going to hot glue them, and you're going to want to make this a right angle. And now for the assembly. And the rest of them I am just putting in. I'm gonna go ahead and take these glass jars that I found on Amazon. And now I'm going to take my first spice. And that is it. So now we're gonna close this up. So I got these from Etsy. You could really get them from anywhere. I believe Amazon has quite a bit of them, Etsy, and then you could just make your own if you'd like. I'm gonna go ahead and start adding our spices. It's just so farmhouse and fresh. I love it.
I picked up these containers at Dollar Tree. They can be found in the travel section. The first thing I'm going to do is use some nice and strong super glue or E6000 and attach the magnets to the bottom of each one of the containers. While that's drying, I'm going to upcycle an old picture frame. On the back of this frame, I am going to add some magnets. Now I'm going to use these glittery black stickers I found just to put the word spices on the bottom of the frame. So I'm using a Sharpie to write the name of spices that I use most often right on top. Now it's time to fill up the jars. I'm going to put up the frame first where I want it, and then I can just stick the jars right on the fridge inside the frame. I love having these right at my fingertips instead of having to dig through a cabinet.
To begin, I purchased a 36 by 48 piece of acrylic from Home Depot. To prep the piece, I covered all 4 corners with 2 layers of painter tape, measured up and over 1.5 inches, and marked. I then used a regular drill bit to slowly drill the hole into the acrylic, making sure not to crack it. This will come in handy later. Making a rectangle, I measured up from the bottom 2.5 inches and marked it. 6.5 inches from each side and down 8.5 inches from the top. I used painter's tape to mark these measurements. Then, measuring 5-inch strips, I marked and taped off vertical lines and repeated this step for the horizontal lines. The tape I used to make these is called charting tape, but you can use any color tape that matches your decor. After all the lines were marked, I cut the excess tape off with an X-Acto knife and removed the painter's tape. I then went outside to give my sign standoffs a coat of gold spray paint to match the rest of my calendar. While these were drying, I secured my vinyl letters to mark the days of the week to the top of my calendar. I made these with my Cricut, but you could cut your own or get a set of stickers from the craft store to spell out the days of the week. Now it's time to hang. Having a partner comes in handy to hold the calendar up to make sure it's level and then mark the corners where you drilled. The standoffs I ordered came with anchors and screws, so I first secured the drywall anchors to the wall, and then I drilled in the base of the standoff. Then we lifted the calendar and slid the pre-drilled holes onto the screws and secured them with the stoppers. I am thrilled with how this calendar turned out. It's a chic way to plan out the week or the month without being a total eyesore.
Take an X-Acto knife and remove the lid flaps. Take hemp rope and a hot glue gun to begin wrapping the rope around the box. Take twine and begin gluing it to the perimeter of the bottom of the box. Take balsa wood oval or circle shapes and paint them with black paint. Print words to be displayed on the side of the box. Cut them out and use pencil to cover the back of the paper. Then trace the font on the balsa wood. Use a chalkboard pen or a white paint pen to cover the pencil traced font. Use a hot glue gun to attach the labels to the side of the box. There you have it, an inexpensive way to create your own pantry storage for your home for less than $10.
Step number 1, have this folk art acrylic craft paint. I'm using a dry brush, but I'm going to go in with my brush and we're just going to work on coating the basket. So we have the gray. Now we're going to go in with folk art honeycomb. And I'm just going to take my palette. So we're going to give this a couple moments to dry, and then we're going to take some fun farmhouse style ribbon to attach it to our baskets.
There you have it. Here is the after of my Pottery Barn hack driftwood aged baskets that I made for a fraction of what you would pay retail.
Begin by emptying out your entire pantry. Your counters should look like this. Clean and measure your space. I'll be using a few different organizers like clear plastic bins, wicker baskets, turntables, and airtight containers. How much better does this look? Everything makes sense for my home and my lifestyle, and it's super easy to find.
Grab some inexpensive tension rods. Take 2 tension rods and install them horizontally in your closet. The front rod should be placed about a 1/2 inch lower than the back rod. This will give your shoes a slight angle forward without them falling off. You can organize boots as well. Place the tension rods vertically to keep boots upright and organized. Your boots can't help but stand at attention. Is the space under your kitchen sink a jumble of cleaning bottles? Clear out the space and install one larger sized tension rod horizontally and in front of any sink pipes. Hang all of your cleaning spray bottles from the rod. You'll be amazed at how much added space you now have. In any kitchen cupboard, install a series of 2 tension rods vertically and back to create the perfect system for storing baking sheets and muffin pans.